Hey guys, how are you? Elda here. It is Sunday meal prep day for me. I am just doing I'm using my Instant Pot to make Thai, what is it called? Slow cooker Thai beef stew. It's one of my favorite recipes out of this recipe book, Against All Grains, Danielle Walker. This was the recipe book I used a lot when I gave up all those foods. And I still use it a lot. I have a lot of her cookbooks. I really, really like them. She could make some really good, even desserts that are really good, that are gluten-free, grain-free. She comes up with a lot of really, really good recipes. So if you don't have this book, I highly recommend you get it. And I've bought a couple of her cookbooks as, online books, like through iBooks. I find I don't use them as much as a real recipe book, so I always buy a recipe book. So I have my Instant Pot. There's a saute button. I have that on here. I have a medium onion and a couple cloves of garlic. And I just saute that up. And this isn't exactly how she does it in the recipe. She actually will she cooks up her beef on the stovetop, because I'm not sure if she uses Instant Pot or not. Yeah, she does actually. But Instant Pot has a really great feature that you can saute in there. You don't have to go from the stove into here. That's why I love this pot. I don't think there's any other better pot out there. So this is a really good investment. And if you get it as a gift, don't just put it aside and not ever use it, because I've made some really good meals. Another really good thing you can make in here is a really good applesauce. Throw a little cinnamon in there. That's a really good one. I'll do that one day for you guys. So that just has the onions and the garlic sauteing. Then we are gonna add, I bought some, you could use chicken if you don't want to use beef. I don't eat a ton of red meat, but every once in a while I like to. So what I got in here is I just have some of my gluten-free flour, and I have some spices like some paprika, some salt, some pepper, and that's about it. And I just shift that up in here. This has the beef in here. And even though there's a little extra flour in there, I throw that all in there because that will thicken up your sauce in the end. And let me give it a stir. And remember, you don't have to cook everything until it's done, because it's going to cook. We're going to put it in there. You can either put it on slow for 8 hours or high for 5 hours. I'm going to do the high for 5 hours. My onions, though, I do like to cook those for a bit before I put the meat in. The meat in, I don't feel like that has to be cooked as much, because we're going to be cooking it for a fair amount of time. Another ingredient we need, and I just opened it up and it took the label off, red curry paste. You can just buy that Safeway or any sort of grocery store. And we're going to put that whole jar in because it calls for half a cup, which is what this was. We are also going to use some tomato paste, a 1/3 cup. This is a little less than a cup, so I'll probably put half of it. That's a little bit more than it calls for. You're supposed to put, with the onions and garlic, you're supposed to put fresh ginger. I thought I had some at home, but I didn't. So when I got home from the grocery store, I'm just going to use my ground ginger here because I like ginger. And I never used to like ginger until I had some tummy troubles, and it really, really helped with nausea. So I started to learn to really like ginger. I used to have ginger tea. I put ginger in all my cooking. Okay, so those onions are getting pretty soft in there. Now I'm going to add, and like I said, I put the flour and everything in there, because in the end that will thicken up my stew sauce. And now I'm just going to brown this in here. Okay, let's get back to the ingredients. I've already put salt and pepper in the on the meat, but in the end, when I mix everything up, I'm going to add a little bit more salt and pepper. Our last ingredient that we use, well, not our last, but another one is coconut milk. You use the full fat coconut milk. And be very careful when you buy your coconut milk. There's a lot of coconut milks out there that have a ton of preservatives in them. This one I love because it's just coconut extract. That's the only ingredient in here. And this is called Pure. No BPA either. So that's the one I always try to buy. That I buy at Rainbow Groceries here in the Bay Area. I'm not sure that I've seen it at Whole Foods or anything like that. So I'm just going to give this a stir. Another thing you put in there is a little bit of lime juice, and I don't have a lime, so I'm going to use this stuff in here, and I'm going to put a little lime juice in there as well. You could add other things that you want to that, but totally up to you what spices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that for 5 hours. The last half hour is when you add your vegetables. You can make whatever vegetables you want. This recipe, and I'll post this recipe later, is broccoli, julienne carrots, and jicama. I will put the broccoli and the carrots, and then I put a few peas in there. Jicama, I'm not sure I really like that, so I don't really use that too much. I know a lot of people put it in salads. Not my favorite. So that's getting kind of brown. So I want it just to get a little bit more brown, and then I will add the rest of this stuff. I will put it, close it up, and then basically I just put it on for, this one I'll put for 5 hours. And you don't even really have to brown the meat. I do because I don't like the way it looks if it's not browned. So, and I will show you, this is how it looks when it comes out, and it really does actually look pretty close to that. This is over rice. No, that's cauliflower rice she has there because she doesn't do grains. So cauliflower rice, so easy to do these days. You can buy it at the grocery store, very handy, quick, easy. Or you can just do your own, but you have to use a food processor. I've tried doing it in my Vitamix, it does not work. It just makes it mush. But a food processor, you have to just kind of pulse it. Okay, so let me start with my lime juice. And it's 2 teaspoons, and you remember I do not measure my stuff very much at all, really, unless I'm baking. If I bake, I do. And then give that a stir. I'm going to put my ginger in there. And I like ginger, so I put a lot. You don't even have to put ginger if you don't want. There's also some fish sauce in there. Be careful, this stuff is very salty. And there is, I believe, 2 tablespoons. That should do it. And then we will put this whole jar. Let me give that another stir. And as you put each ingredient in, just stir it up a bit. And I can show you what this looks like. I'm sorry. There it is in there, okay? Let me just pick it up a little bit. I got all the steam in there too. Okay. I need to come up with a better system here. Sorry guys, technical difficulties. You guys still there? Okay. Stir. I am going to add my red curry paste. This will make it a little spicy. So if you have kids, be careful with that. You could just put less or not at all. So that's that. Remember, I am gonna put a half of this tomato paste. And then you stir that up, and then I'm gonna add the coconut milk. And my meal prep day is always Sunday. Oh, you can't see me very well, can you? My meal prep day is Sunday because I find that is the day that I plan my whole week ahead of my menu, and I really try to stick to that because then I have no bad choices of food. So, I need some coconut milk, and you put the whole can of that in, the whole thing. Okay, and give that a stir. And make sure you stir that up because, you know, the coconut cream sits on top. Okay, and like I said, so the last 30 minutes, you just open this up, whoops, and you throw in your veggies. And you can put whatever veggies you like. Okay, let me make sure I have all my ingredients. Yes, I do. So, I'm gonna take it off saute, put it on slow cook. And whoops, sorry. Let me just take saute off for a minute so it stops boiling. Let me, here I go with this thing again. It doesn't do very well. Take it off and on, but just wanted to show you. That's how it looks like. And like I said, it's really good. And if you eat rice, you can totally do it over rice. You could do it over some noodles. Now what I'm gonna do is on your Instant Pot, you have a venting and a sealing because this is also a pressure cooker. And if you are someone that likes to make bone broth, this is the best way to make bone broth because you just put your water and your spices and your chicken or whatever bones you're using. You can make bone broth that normally takes about 16 hours in about 2.5 hours if you use the pressure cooker. But we're not using pressure, so I make sure it's on venting. You will hear that noise, and then you come on here, you go slow cook. I'm gonna do it on high. I set it for 5, and you just put it on more. So it's on high for 5 hours, and it will start, and that's it. And then, so that meal, obviously I'm not gonna have it for dinner tonight, but it will be my lunch tomorrow. That means it's starting, it's slow cook. So that will be my lunch tomorrow, and then probably a meal later down on in the week. So that's it. That's how quick that is to make. While you're making that, another good thing is I cut up all my vegetables, I cut up all my fruits, I make sure they're clean and ready to go for the week. I put them in little containers or little baggies, my pre-cut vegetables, so that all I have to do is go into the fridge and just grab them, throw them in my lunch bag, and they're good to go, and I'm ready to go. And like I said, I make better choices, because if I don't meal prep, I don't eat that great. So for me, it's non-negotiable. I have to meal prep. So that was my recipe for today. I haven't been on here for a while, sorry. I will be back again, and I will post that recipe a little later on. All right, you guys, thanks again always for the support, always appreciate it.